1 star. They should be open for business Monday to Friday. We have been closed on Thursdays for over a year. It has been posted on the door and posted on Google for that long. 3 stars. It wasn't a bad burger and it was cooked perfectly. The beef just tasted too much like a cow and the bacon tasted too much like a pig, which grossed me out a lot, so I couldn't finish it. Low-key kind of sad about it, but whatever. The beef tasted like the meat you get from a cow, and the bacon tastes like a pig where you get bacon from. That's really weird. It's so strange. 1 out of 5 stars. Don't pay attention to the hours. They won't let you eat unless you are there 30 minutes prior to their posted business hours. Terrible customer service. They close for good this year. Thank God. Dude, I bet you missed information that was posted very clearly, either on their website or on the business itself. That's probably your fault. 2 out of 5 stars. Age discrimination. Called and was setting up the appointment and all sounded great until I told them my age. They then said I would have to go get blood tests done before the procedure. I sent my blood work from my annual exam, but they said it was too old also, smile. I told them that I am 51 and healthy and get my annual physicals and take no medicine and just ran a marathon, but they did not care. This is a huge hassle. Now I have to go and find somewhere to get blood work done. This seems like age discrimination to me. I was curious if other clinics required the same blood work for a low-risk outpatient procedure. I read a study that said doctors should not waste time and resources on unneeded tests. After some searching on the internet, I found Dr. Blank, who has performed over 15,000 vasectomies, and I called and asked if I needed any blood work prior to the procedure. They said no. Beware if you go here that you age matters. And a reply from the owner, I'm sorry you felt age discrimination. Patients' health is our primary focus. We ask of all of our over 50 patients for current labs to be sure post-surgery healing will go well and without complications. Our procedures can shake up the body's defenses, so it's very important we know you're as healthy as you may look. We thank you for the opportunity to explain to others who may need to know our policy is to take care of the whole patient, not just a part of him. 2 out of 5 stars. Not enough food, seriously. Appetizers only. We came out 1 p.m. New Year and hungry. Don't go New Year's. Reply from the owner, Raymond, while we appreciate your review, damn, getting name called, it doesn't really add up. We served 14 appetizers and 5 dinner courses on New Year's Eve. You somehow left hungry? I'm sorry if the 19 courses didn't fit your appetite, but goodness, to claim that we don't serve enough food is questionable at best. Nonetheless, we wish you the best in your journey through life. 1 love. 1 star. Worst book ever. The title of this book is copied from another book, which is the one I thought I was ordering. This book is the worst book I've ever read. The only reason I read it all the way through was trying to think of someone I could give it to. The subject matter is very juvenile, however, there are numerous words that children have never heard of and would not understand. It's so bad I wouldn't even donate it to a library. It doesn't deserve a star, but I had to give it 1 to be able to write the review. The Girl with No Name. Have you also considered that books that are different from each other could be named the same thing? Just a thought. You know, there could be another book called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone about some kid named Harry on a farm who finds a stone that belonged to a sorcerer. I'm just saying, maybe not the best example, but also I think it's weird that you're giving a book a review. I mean, I guess you did read it. You did read it, I'll give you that, but I think you're just more or less upset that you did not get the book you wanted, and that's why you gave it a 1 star, even though you had to give it a 1 star, else you can't review it. You probably would have given it a 0 star. 3 out of 5 stars. Every item but 2 things at most on the menu were cauliflower based. I didn't even feel like cauliflower, so I ate queso with chips, decent spice, and corn chowder, spicier than queso. I'm vegetarian, but personally wouldn't return. I'm also never chose cauliflower at Pignets, would prefer other meat alternatives. Hi Phoebe, it sounds like we didn't do anything wrong, you just didn't understand what our entire menu is about. We are a cauliflower-based restaurant, so I'm not sure how you wound up here in the first place as an anti-cauliflower person, but we're glad you gave us a try and found a couple things you liked. Just a reminder that it's a tough time for all small businesses, and bad and mediocre reviews causes harm. If we did something wrong, fair game. Doesn't sound like we did though. We know we can't win them all, but it's an especially lousy time to hurt small businesses based on personal preference. I hope this message is received with the same gentleness and kindness with which it was sent. 1 star. I was craving cupcakes and decided to go here simply because they are close by. I didn't have a mask for health reasons and for my God-given right to breathe. Jesus Christ, shut the f*** up. Some employee right away starts being rude and angry towards me. I was going in for 2 minutes to grab a couple cupcakes and his behavior was completely unnecessary and over the top. I don't mind not ever buying from here anyway because their pastries aren't even good. They are a super sweet. 1 star. Would not let my disabled father skip the line even though he is wheelchair ridden and cannot even walk around to warm himself up unlike the rest of us. Said it would be unfair to others, which for some reason didn't sound like a compelling argument for somebody in his situation. You're in a line and you're saying he can't walk around to warm himself up. You're in a line. You can't walk around anyways. You're in line. You're gonna be cold standing or sitting. It makes no difference, dude. 1 star. 0 stars is not an option. The staff here are especially terrible. Anyone who works there is grungy and somehow pretentious. They don't care about you. Do yourself a favor and go somewhere else. Food 2 out of 5, service 1 out of 5, atmosphere 1 out of 5. Oh boy, long response from the owners. This review was posted by a person who is extremely self-important. Got drunk, took his dog home, came back forgetting he did that, then accused a bunch of our customers of stealing his dog. Demanded that the karaoke host stop to look at the cameras, demanded that the bartender stop serving people to look at the cameras, and demanded that the bartender call me, the owner, at 1:45 a.m. to look at the cameras. Everyone was trying to be as accommodating as we could, but he was being awful to everyone, especially our customers who he was yelling at. When he got home an hour later, his dog was there and he called to let us know. Because of the overall negativity and drama he caused, we decided to no longer allow him at our bar. He was delivered this news yesterday, thus earning us a 0 stars rating. Our customers are all very friendly, honest people and never even steal wallets or phones. They always turn them in. Our staff is always more than helpful with anyone in any situation they need help. No one stole this guy's dog. He is just upset that we will not let him come in anymore. Edited to add, everyone who was at the bar that night had to suffer the consequences of your negligence, and you want to come here and give us a 0 star review? Well, sir, we rated you 0 stars first, which is why we banned you. Got him. 1 star. I left some expensive sunglasses there at the end of the day on 10/28/23. The 3 girls working the end of the day claim they never saw them, but I know I left them there. When I called again the next day, one of the girls who was working the day before remembered me and was defensive about saying she never saw them. I am positive I left them there as I checked all other places they could have been. Employees no longer feel trustworthy to me. Hi, Jenna. After reading your review, I was a bit shocked at your accusations accusing my staff of stealing. While I am sorry that you misplaced your glasses, I will stand behind them 100% in the face of an accusation like this. I have of course asked each one of these women individually what happened, and they all relayed the same story about how you were sitting at the bar with your parents and were quite lovely in that they tried to help you locate your glasses once they were aware of the issue. We do have cameras in the restaurant and I reviewed the footage several times and there was no stealing of any glasses. You are more than welcome to come in and view the footage yourself. Please do not accuse my wonderful staff of something so egregious unless you have actual proof. If you would like to discuss this further, I am always happy to chat and often find this more meaningful and helpful than having discussions like these on public forums for thousands to view. 1 out of 5 stars. I am posting this on TripAdvisor because the management of Club Med need to hear this ASAP. Here is what happened. This evening, we took the golf cart shuttle from Aqua Marina to the main port co-share something. As the driver of our golf cart was pulling up under the portico here, he pulled up very close, less than 12 inches, next to a large suburban SUV on the right. There was another golf cart parked on the immediate left, so he sandwiched in between the 2 vehicles. He pulled up and stopped the golf cart for everyone to get out. I screamed out to our kids to stop and not move. By the grace of God, they stayed in the golf cart. As the suburban only inches to our right, right, started driving forward. If our kids would have stepped out of the golf cart, they would have been dragged under the suburban SUV and crushed under the wheels. I yelled at the golf cart driver and he was completely oblivious. He did not even know what was going on. We were sick the whole night with the thought of what could have happened. 1 star. I was asking the cashier about a product and he walks out from that little room in the front of the store and says, "Oh, they stopped making that particular product." I said I don't think so. I buy it every time I go to Walmart. Then he had to pull his nasty little foot out of his nasty little mouth. And he was the manager and he is the rudest, nasty little thing. I would never buy anything in that store ever again, ever. To tell me they quit making a product just because he hasn't heard of it in his precious little store, the nasty little owner didn't like my very honest review that I gave of his nasty response to me looking for a product that he claimed was not sold anymore, which I buy all the time at different stores. Nasty little man, God help anybody who works for him. This hope he has a horrible summer. What a nasty owner of a store. At poor cashier, I could see it on her face when he came struck out of that office telling me that that product was not available anymore. Nasty little man. 1 star. I'm a little confused as to why whoever owns this now decided it was a good idea to host weddings and such as a place as this. Kinda stupid in my opinion, considering he deserves better than that. This is not a place for weddings and stuff. If anything, it should be like a tour of Houdini's place. I'm sure it probably has that, right? 1 star. Wanted to try this place out for a cup of coffee. Walked in the front door and was nicely greeted. Walked up to the counter and was told they were closed and they would be open the next day at 7. I can't believe that they couldn't have gotten me a cup of coffee and pastry to go. There were 6 people sitting at tables. How much you want to bet they got there before it was closed? We are so sorry that this was your first experience with our place. We would have loved to serve you, however, at 2 p.m. our tills and machines are closed down. We allow guests that have made purchases prior to closing to remain in our shop while we close up the cafe. We hope you give us another try and are able to change the review from a 1 star to a 5 star, as that's what we strive for with every customer experience. We're open Monday to Thursday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday to Sunday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Very helpful. I'm sure he's not reading any of that. 2 out of 5 stars. Was in town from Green Bay. Was an impulsive same-day decision to come here, and we weren't aware it was gonna rain. Got a 1-hour reservation, and it started raining 15 minutes in, so we didn't even get to enjoy it. Wish it didn't rain. Would have been super relaxing. Worth the money even just for an hour. Hopefully next time we stop in, it won't rain. So you gave them a bad review because of what Mother Nature did and not them? Asshole. 2 out of 5 stars. Food is fine, not bad. The reason for the 2 stars is for the ketchup. Why on earth a vegan place, which is supposed to be a healthier cuisine, is giving customers a ketchup with high fructose corn syrup? I received it with my plant-based burger and fries. Well, dude, it's vegan, but like, that doesn't mean it's all like still good for you. You're still eating a burger with a bunch of crap. It's like, it's better. It's better than like a real meat burger in terms of health. But you're concerned about high fructose corn syrup? 3 stars. This is the highest I've seen today. First time of being called out of eating in here. I have eaten in here a couple of times prior to that, and nobody said anything. But what really takes the cake is the fact that there's an Indian guy that comes in here every single day and eats every single day, and yet he's never been called out for it, only because he sits in the back where they obviously don't pay attention to those things in the back. There is a sign up front that says no food or drinks, but yet I have seen people in here with bottles of whatever they're drinking and they have never been called out for it, or at least from what I've seen personally. And I've been in here quite a bit. Hell, I even had a guy drinking coffee right next to me, and nobody said anything to him. Like, make it make sense. 1 star. Awful. Rude. Just to the point. Hi, Jessica. While we're sorry you didn't enjoy your visit to the cafe, please understand that our mask policy is not up for negotiation. Since you refused multiple polite offers of a free mask to wear when ordering inside at the register, and also refused the accommodation to order takeout through the QR code on our front window, we did not serve you any food or drinks today. 1 star. Do not come here if you like being lied to. Came in here on a Thursday, bought something, and then asked if they charge for a cup of milk. Young young lady told me at the time that they did not charge for that sort of thing. Came back a couple days later, asked if I could have one, and just as I figured, new gal told me that they charge for that sort of thing. Came back and told her that that's not what I was told originally. Still refused to give me any, and then tried to get on their Wi-Fi, and supposedly the owner asked me if I needed anything, and I told her no. Then she told me that if I needed to buy something in order to get on their Wi-Fi, claimed that it showed that, and when I was in there, I did not see anything of that sort. Long story short, contradictions are bad for business. Might want to keep that in mind. Either that or get your employees in check. 2 stars. Bought my dress here. Fell out of love with my dress. No refunds, no exchanges, and no exceptions. Okay, well that's just that you are poorly reviewing them for your fault. You should have read their text. You goddamn idiot. 1 star, 0 stars. The absolute worst. Instead of giving my change in my hand, it was placed on the counter. I was told it was because of COVID-19. I suggested they buy gloves. So rude. The lady working wanted to argue with me because I commented on her rudeness. After I already paid for the order, $100 for some carry-out vegetables, I was so offended. I will never go back. 1 star. I share the sentiments of the last few reviews. I used to shop there regularly. Today I tried to return an item that I had unfortunately lost the receipt. I requested either a store credit or replacement of the item I purchased. That did not work. The store manager refused to do anything without a receipt. Makes sense. After returning home, I did actually find the receipt, but they can keep their $50. I won't be shopping there again. 1 star. I don't understand how this museum can defend civil rights, but doesn't allow people to protect themselves while they are there. The museum security denied me, a school resource officer, entry into the building because of my weapon. I had to remain in my vehicle and let my students be unprotected in downtown Memphis. Wait, I thought you said you weren't allowed into a museum. But now you're saying that they're unprotected in downtown Memphis? Like just roaming around the city? Which is it, bud? 1 star. Didn't even get to enter. Went here with my 7-year-old kid. Didn't see any information on minimum age. Owner came out and just pointed at this sign and closed its door without saying anything. Horrible. Yeah, I can see that you didn't see any information on minimum age because you must be blind. It's right there. 1 star. They have a repellent treatment and their food is soy productos based, which is proven to create cancer, having the same amount of toxic ureas, proteins of meat, and promote estrogens. 3 stars. Came in here a few years ago. Didn't have very much at the time, although this place is pretty cool. I'm gonna have to say that the guy who's running it talks way too dame mooch and practically never shuts up. For a person that doesn't talk at all that mooch anyways and practically keeps to himself most of the time, that's pretty well the only thing I got going against this shop. Response from the owner. I am deeply sorry that my cadence of speech triggered your social anxiety to the point that you felt a 3-star review was merited. My goal is to make sure every human leaves the store with a smile on their face, whether they buy from us or not. If I ever have the opportunity to attempt to earn your business again, I will make sure to take a vow of silence like a Shaolin monk before you walk in. I will use notes in response if you have any questions rather than the turbulence of my voice box, so I do not hurt your ears. Have a great day, sir, and thank you for the insight. I will try to slow down a bit and not be so excited that I am living my dream and sharing my passion for skateboarding with the world. It sucks not being depressed because I do not fit in with anybody. Maybe I will watch sad movies before I open so I can act more emo and run down like 90% of the world. 1 star. Lack of communication. Went into the shop for tasting samples of cakes, which that was fine. Erin made me feel as if she couldn't fill my cake order in. In fact, I received 1 call from her to let me know that she had other ideas for the layout for the cake. I left several messages for Erin. She never got back to me to let me know she would not be able to fill my cake order for my husband retirement party. My daughter-in-law and I were scrambling to the last days to find a cake shop to fill our cake order. Sincerely, not a happy customer. Your tasting was for a Thursday. You blew that off and called up on Saturday. We accommodated another testing for Tuesday. You were supposed to send your images that day. 6 days later, you sent images. You were reached out to twice and not available. You were told you missed your window. We are disappointed with how we were treated as well. 1 star. Shocking services. Just jumped out a moving taxi. Should have got the bus. No, in danger. My life. Never be using them again and don't want people to terrible. I understood that. Ryan, you tried to run away out of the car and bump the driver as you had no money. You then handed your phone over to the driver to hold until you got your mom to come out and pay. Finally, you decided to grab the phone back and jump out of the car as the driver was maneuvering. Everything has been recorded on the vehicle's CCTV and will be handed over to the police. Please do not come back to our office for a taxi. You are now blacklisted. 1 star. Worst Thai food ever. Rather, worst food ever, if it can be called that. We went on Christmas Eve, so naturally it was very understaffed. One person trying to run the show. We ordered pad ki mao and stir-fried cashew. Order arrived after a good while, and stir-fried cashew was floating vegetables and cashews in chili water. Pad ki mao drunken noodles tasted like chili fried in garlic paste and was inedible. College students can make better food than this. Hi there, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy your experience with us. I know exactly who you are. I recall your order, so here's the deal. The 2 items you ordered are not vegan, but you wanted them vegan. Now it's possible to do, but it changes our recipes and therefore changes the end product that you receive. We have vegan options on the menu to accommodate our vegan guests that do not require substitutes to the recipes and are delicious. You did not select any of those options and instead chose items not listed as vegan options. Most things are possible to alter, but it should go without saying that if we change our tried and true recipes to accommodate your dietary preferences and or necessities, you may not enjoy the end result in the same way that if it were made without modification. Literally, if you change our recipes, you run the risk of it not being nearly as good. So you came it, modified, and substituted our recipes, and then we are unhappy with the result. I am sorry you were unhappy, but I'm also kind of at a loss here. I feel like you likely would have been much more satisfied with the food had you selected items that have already incorporated your dietary restrictions, of which there are plenty of options and are clearly highlighted throughout the menu. You're welcome to email us at blank to discuss it further if you wish. In any case, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and find some food in town that you enjoy. Cheers. 1 star. A staff member refused to refer to my clearly female daughter as she. My daughter is a girl. She is 4 and is not a they. An institution that pretends to trust the science, but denies an outright scientific fact and instead goes off the deep end and bows to radical ideology. Tragic. Dude, people who f***ing moan when people refer to someone as they, like, dude, people have been doing that for decades, centuries, since the word they has been created, probably. Like, you can use they for someone who is a man, a woman, non-binary. It doesn't matter. It's like, it's really not that hard to process, man. 1 out of 5 stars. It was my first time coming in with my wife and my daughter, who was home from the Navy and wasn't in the office 3 minutes when we were treated like thieves and told to leave immediately because my daughter thought that the small boxes in a glass jar above a cabinet were free samples. I understand when a business owner is frustrated over theft in their business, but it could have been handled differently. Blank could have informed my daughter that those weren't free samples and that they were for sale or product use in the office, since many other products in the cabinet below the jar were locked. I tried going back in to apologize for the misunderstanding, but she told us once again to leave because she would call the police. Blank, I apologize for the misunderstanding. I wish you could have handled the situation better. My daughter felt you were the person to do her eyebrows before returning to base, but was disappointed with how she was treated. With all due respect, when I came in and saw the product was missing and asked you about it, you all, including your wife who was scheduled for a follow-up appointment, pretended not to know what I was talking about. I asked several times where it went, and finally, as your daughter proceeded to pull the product from out of her purse, she said, "Oh, I was going to pay for it." For future reference, generally free samples are marked as such. I would have been more understanding if you and your party's response would have been an immediate apology with the quick return of the product, but that was not the case, and my security footage along with witnesses will corroborate my version of this incident. 1 star, no vegan options. Come on, it's 2024. Thank you for taking the time to review us. We have quite a few vegetarian options that can easily be turned into vegan by removing the cheese. Apologies if this was not communicated to you. It probably was. Our exec chef is currently also working on some exciting new vegan dishes that will be added in the next month. Wow. 1 star. Are the wallabies gay or is it the emu? Why the hell is this flag hanging in a zoo predominantly for children? This flag is solely about your orientation in the bedroom. Wrong. Stop it. Take it down. This is not quite as bad as when you held a LGBTQ LSU event for children with adults, but it all has to stop. I am a member with children. The place is full of children. Stop indoctrinating them with your orientation flags. What do you are a member? What do you mean by that? Like a member of the zoo? I don't, I'm lost by a couple different things here. If you think in any way that this is indoctrination and not just showing support for a group of people who are very commonly, oppressed and harassed for simply existing, you're a idiot and you don't deserve anything good.